What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another college game day, or not game day, but college football picks and football talk in general. We were going over week 6, which was last week, and this week, which is week 7. Before we get to that, we got Bucky the Badger over here. We got the lineup of cards. We have the Bo Nix Chrome rookie because the Broncos took down the Eagles. Tim Couch is just I don't want to say a meme, but we'll see what Dylan Gabriel can do, and he might end up being like the next Tim Couch, maybe. Who knows? Maybe Shadur Sanders might take that. Jake Ferguson for my Wisconsin Badgers, and I just decided to throw that in. It was cool. 1974 design, I think, or 73. Joe Montana X Factor. So we will go ahead and get into last week. Week 6 picks Thursday. I was hoping Sam Houston would win. I was going off the fact that I was hoping they'd pick up the first win, and they didn't. Sam Houston drops to 0-5, 37-10. Friday we did a little bit better. We went 3-2. We got the Western Kentucky Delaware game wrong. One score, 27-24, and then the San Jose State and New Mexico game wrong, 35-28. I tell you what, I get so unlucky with the ones I get wrong. It's always like one score for most of them. The only highlight from Friday, Delaware missed the game-tying field goal, falls short to Western Kentucky, 27-24. And it was funny, I was watching the game, and Delaware was doing a drive, and then the kicker missed it. They had a crazy drive, no timeouts, and he missed it. So, week 6 picks for Saturday. Again, here's everything. Things I circled for those of you who are new. The teams I picked to win. Anything in pinks that team who actually won. There were 45 total games. I'm just gonna go over the games I got wrong. Cincinnati, Ohio State. 38-30, one score again. Army, UAB, 31-13. Ball State, Ohio, 20-14, another one-score game. Wake Forest, Virginia Tech ended in 30-23. Temple versus UTSA, 27-21. UCLA took down Penn State, 42-37, another one-score game. Florida beat Texas, 29-21. Virginia beat Louisville 30-27 in overtime. Washington beat Maryland 24-20. Syracuse lost to SMU 18-31. Akron beat Central Michigan 28-22. Arkansas State beat Texas State 31-30 in overtime. FAU beat Rice 27-21. And then Duke beat Cal. I forgot to put the final score. I think it was like 45-28, maybe. But like I said, if I got it wrong, I'd say about 95% of these, it was a one-score game. I'm not making it up. We win a grand total of 34-17, which is 66%. We keep nosediving. I gotta have a good week, hopefully, coming up, which puts us at 268-72, which is still 78%. Here's some of the highlights and headlines for Saturday. Cincinnati takes down Iowa State, gives them their first loss, 38-30. Baylor with a game-winning field goal to beat Kansas State, 35-34. And they actually scored 18 fourth-quarter points as well. Navy sneaks by Air Force to stay undefeated, 34-31. Ball State had a last-second touchdown to beat Ohio, 20-14. UCLA hands Penn State their first loss, 42-37. Miami beat Florida State, 28-22. Florida takes down Texas. For some reason, I didn't write the score down for that one. Virginia hands Louisville their first loss in overtime, 30-27. Washington hands Maryland their first loss, 24-20, with 21 fourth-quarter points. Oregon State falls to 0-6 after their loss to App State 27-23. Buffalo takes down East Michigan in overtime 31-30. Troy survives South Alabama 31-24 in overtime. Fresno State sneaks by Nevada 20-17 at home. And then Memphis beats Tulsa in the first team this season to be bowl eligible. They started off 6-0. Crazy stuff from Memphis. Glad to see they're doing good in other sports besides basketball. So I said I'd keep a running tab on it. Undefeated teams who lost, there were 6 of them. Iowa State, Penn State, Vandy, Louisville, Maryland, and Houston. The remaining schools who are undefeated are Oregon, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Memphis, UNLV, Navy, Missouri, Miami, Indiana, North Texas, Georgia Tech, Texas A&M, BYU, Oklahoma, and Texas Tech. I would not be surprised if this list is cut in half by the end of this upcoming week. So, some of the headlines, we'll start with the Week 7 Top 25. The 2 teams that are out, number 1 and 2 in preseason poll. Penn State was number 7, they're out completely, and Texas was number 9, and they're out completely. 2 new teams, Memphis is 23, and USF is back in the top 25 at 24. And the teams who shifted, again, I try to keep it anywhere from at least 5 picks or more. Notre Dame was 21, now 16. The Fighting Illini was 22, now 17. BYU, I think, had the biggest jump. Or actually, maybe not. 23-18. Virginia was 24, now they're 19. Iowa State was 14, now they're 22. I think that might have been the biggest jump. And Florida State was number 18, now they are 25. So they are on the brink of being pushed out of the top 25. Week 7 headlines. Got a whole list of games before we get there. Some of the winless teams still only got 3. Sam Houston, UMass, and Oregon State. We'll see if any of them can pick up a win. Some of the big games. 24, South Florida versus 5-0 North Texas. Rutgers at Washington. Ohio State versus Illini. Alabama versus Missouri. Indiana at Oregon. Oklahoma at Texas. That'll be a good game, hopefully. Big rivalry there. Nebraska versus Maryland. Arkansas versus 12 Tennessee. Florida versus Texas A&M. Kansas versus Texas Tech. Georgia at Auburn. See if Auburn can have some of their magic they used to have. Michigan versus USC. South Carolina versus LSU. BYU at Arizona. And Arizona State at Utah. So, there's some of the headlines. Week 7 picks. We finally have games on Wednesday. So, you have football Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The only game that there's not football this week is Tuesday, which at the time of filming that's tomorrow. So, all the football gurus are probably going crazy that we have all these games now on all these different dates. So, Wednesday, Missouri State at Middle Tennessee. We're going to take Missouri State. They've actually done, I'd say, pretty well considering their schedule in the first year of FBS play. And then UTEP, I'm hoping, takes down Liberty. Thursday, we got 4 games. Louisiana Tech versus Kennesaw State. I'm hoping Tulane can pick up a win against East Carolina. Jack State versus Sam Houston. I think Sam Houston's going to drop to 0-7. Southern Miss versus Georgia Southern. We're going to take Southern Miss in that Sun Belt Conference matchup. Then Friday, there's 3 games. I'd say 2 of them are pretty good. South Florida versus North Texas. I'm going to take South Florida and give North Texas their first loss. Big Ten matchup, Rutgers versus Washington. We're going to take the Huskies to take down Rutgers because they're at home. And Fresno State hopefully has a better outing than last week and can pick up another win at Colorado State. So, we have Week 7 picks Saturday. There's 46 total games. There's a whole lot of them. And yes, I forgot to put the Iowa versus Wisconsin game, so they're squeezed in there. How I forgot my own team, don't ask. But So, again, as always, these start at noon and go to the last game of the day time-wise. So, we're going to take Ohio State on the road versus Illini, Alabama versus Missouri. Going to take Alabama. And we got to string out some home winners here. Florida State hosts Pitt. Michigan State versus UCLA. SMU hosts Stanford. And Cincinnati hosts UCF. I feel like the one that's probably going to mess me up here is UCF or Cincinnati, but we'll see. We got Houston taking down Oklahoma State. James Madison versus Louisiana. I'm going to take James Madison. I think Army's going to hold on versus Charlotte. Charlotte, not really the best again this year. Miami, Ohio versus Akron. We're going to take Miami, Ohio. Toledo versus Bowling Green. I think this MAC conference game could be close, but I think Toledo might end up taking it. Ole Miss versus Washington State. That's kind of a no-brainer. Northern Illinois versus East Michigan. That could be a good game. I'm hoping Northern Illinois can prove me right here. Kent State. I think Kent State is going to pick up their second win of the year and give UMass their first loss. Now I might be nuts for that, but I don't think UMass is all that good this year. I mean, they haven't won a game yet. So Oregon hosts Indiana. We're going to take Oregon. And stay undefeated. Oklahoma at Texas. We're going to take Oklahoma on the road. I think Texas is overrated, as it's shown pretty much most of the season. Georgia Tech versus Virginia Tech. A couple Tech schools. We're going to take Georgia Tech to win that one at home. And then Notre Dame versus NC State. We're going to take Notre Dame. NC State could give them a run for their money, but I think Notre Dame is going to end up winning this one. I'm going to make this video under 15 minutes, hopefully. Iowa State on the road versus Colorado. Man, Deion Sanders needs to get his stuff together. I'm gonna say this: if he does not make a bowl game this season, which it's likely, he'll probably be in the hot seat real quick as a coach. We're gonna take Penn State to bounce back versus Northwestern. Nebraska on the road versus Maryland. We're gonna take Nebraska to win that one. I think Dylan Raiola is going to have a pretty good game. Wake Forest on the road versus Oregon State going coast to coast. We're going to take Wake Forest. TCU at Kansas State. I think Kansas State's going to slip again, give TCU the win. UNLV I think is going to beat Air Force and stay undefeated. App State's going to win their Sun Belt Conference game versus Georgia State down there in Atlanta. Old Dominion's on a roll. I think they'll continue that hot streak versus Marshall. West Michigan hosts Ball State. Navy on the road versus Temple. We're going to take Navy and hope that they stay undefeated. Which I find it funny that last year was Army and this year it's going to be Navy. And wouldn't you know what, Navy gets to play Notre Dame. Tennessee at Arkansas, that could be a good SEC matchup. I think Arkansas can make it close, but we're going to take Tennessee. Florida Atlantic at home, they host UAB. We're going to take Florida Atlantic. Texas A&M at home versus Florida. I don't think Florida's going to get back-to-back upsets. I highly doubt that, and they're not in the swamp. I'm going to take Iowa versus my Wisconsin Badgers. I think our coach is going to get fired here soon. San Jose State on the road versus Wyoming. I thought about it. I almost went with Wyoming. We're going to go with San Jose State. UL Monroe versus Coastal. We're going to take UL Monroe to take down Coastal. Carolina, Texas Tech hosts Kansas. I think Kansas is in a little bit of a lull. I think Texas Tech will win that one. Georgia at Auburn. I think Georgia's going to keep rolling through Auburn. USC versus Michigan. We're going to take USC just because of the home team there. Minnesota hosts Purdue. I think if it was basketball, I'd take Purdue, but this is football, so we're going to take Minnesota. Clemson versus Boston College. We're going to take Clemson on the road. UTSA hosts Rice. I almost went with Rice. I actually almost did, but based on who UTSA's play, we're going to take them to win that one. Another SEC matchup, South Carolina versus LSU. We're going to take LSU, win that one. BYU at Arizona. We're going to take BYU to win that one. Texas State hosts Troy. Should be a fairly easy win for Texas State. Boise State at home versus New Mexico. I think New Mexico is going to fall to Boise State. Arizona State at Utah should be a fairly easy win for Arizona State, I think. San Diego State at Nevada, again, should be an easy win for San Diego State. And the last game of the day, probably starting at 11:59 Eastern Time. Probably won't watch it just because it's late. Utah State versus Hawaii. I'm going to take Hawaii to win that one. So that'll do it for this video, buddy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully everybody's going to enjoy all the football. And until next time, guys, see ya.